Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. I'm speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. Welcome back to the show, Larry.
Well, Jim, I always like to attend to the show.
We have partial business reopenings across Canada and the U.S. Is that an encouraging sign for anyone and everyone?
Well, I think it's an encouraging sign because, people are getting back to work, and I hope they all have jobs to return to. The big thing about it is that we're seeing more traffic on the roads in the last couple of weeks than we've seen in the last 6 weeks. So that tells you everything. You can read about it, but when you're actually experiencing it's a different story. Now, we didn't have any news releases this week, but I just want to tell everybody that work is continuing on the processing of the material to upgrade and basically put more tonnage or more poundage through the pilot plant. There's certain things that happen that you have to address as you're doing it. It's not. This is a new territory again, but it's not a showstopper. And but we're happy with the initial reports that we've gotten, but we haven't had an update since the last time I talked, which was last Friday. And I hope that to get down and actually see it functioning, sometime in the next week, if Cametco's got enough people back to work. And I'd like to go down and watch the plant live. Now, my last podcast, I talked about the optimizing the plant and everything, eventually, hopefully reducing the OPEX and the cost of the whole plant, maybe reducing the sizes. So, and I think that some of that was interpreted the wrong way. Certainly, I was aware that the bull boards were discussing things like, our whole thing was in the ash can, which couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, this is an ongoing sort of situation where you've got R&D, and if you can improve in an area before you build the plant, do it. Don't build the plant and then tear it apart and repair it after it's built, or repair it, or make additions or deletions. And so I just want everybody to know that our principal business plan is still the same. Basically, I think I saw it as a plus that we had more tricks to go through when dealing with Tier 1 companies, because if they want to use us in the future, they'll have to build a plant, and we can get some kind of a royalty interest on that plant, and we'll supply the technology and the guidance in building the plant. But the major thing, the 3-ton-a-day plant, that is a different thing. When I talked about another source for the material, I was talking about the battery not the battery manufacturer, the catalyst supplier, and because we can't build a plant for everybody's chemistry out there. It just doesn't make sense business-wise, but it makes sense on an individual basis. But we want to get into production. We want to get into production and become a producer of catalytic metals, and that's our goal. And that's a 3-ton-a-day plant is going to take that, optimize that. So sooner we can get around to that, the better we can get. But if we have to do a little more R&D to improve the capacity and the performance, let's do it. And, right now, with limited manpower and everything else, this is an opportune time for us to do that. So that's exactly what we're doing. And we had some interesting articles on the company. There's one company that put out an article that I I really liked, because it showed that they had researched it, that they did a very good job of explanation, and so we're attaching that to the podcast that's coming up here, and which we're doing right now, I should say. So, and that was by Metal Tech News, and so I actually encourage everybody to take a look at that article. It explains what we're doing. It explains exactly where we're at, how they feel about the project, and I'm sure that it will go over very well with our shareholders. We have other tech news in there. It looks like Panasonic and Tesla are going to join together to increase the plant, the gigafactory in Reno, by 50%. So that's good news for the U.S. and creates a lot more jobs, and it creates a lot more battery waste, and that's what we're looking for. So, and there's a few other articles in there that talk about where the market should be, and it's astounding where they say it's going to go. And, we don't necessarily agree with all of that, but it tells me that at some point there will be room for all kinds of recyclers, and it depends on the battery manufacturer on how he wants to answer the question that's going to get posed to him, and that question is, what happens at the end of life with the batteries? Well, now they say, well, we recycle them, and, but what's recycling is reducing it down to a black powder and sending it off to a smelter is not the optimum way to go. What we're trying to do is introduce a project out there that will actually return the catalyst material back to the basic metals or a precursor. The basic metals being cobalt, nickel, manganese, lithium, and aluminum. And so that's what we want to do with very little or nothing going into the environment. So that's what we have to remember. This is what our process is all about. I get calls in here, every week on other people that are talking about recycling. They want comments. I can't give comments on what they say because they don't say anything. They just say they're recycling. They're getting 85%. Is that 85% of the whole battery? Or is that 90% of the whole battery? I don't know. And, there's nothing for me to follow up on that. So, we can't do that. We're very transparent on what we do. And I don't think you've seen anybody else that shows a big production of powders. And, that should warm the cockles of your heart. Anyway, we're coming up to a long weekend. We just went through our long weekend, and now the U.S. is into their long weekend. Some people may travel, but probably most of them will stay in lockdown. And now's a good time to catch up on any work that you're doing that you can do from home or on your computer. And I would say that's what's going to happen this weekend. And I wish everybody in the U.S. A great long weekend, and certainly we'll have a short weekend, but I hope that's good too. Thank you.
Larry, how can people get more information, and where are you traded?
You can get all the information you need on our website, which is AmericanManganeseInc.com. We're traded on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the symbol AMY. We're traded in the U.S. under the symbol AMYZF. And we're traded in Frankfurt under the symbol 2AM. You can always email me here at LREAUGH@AMYMN.com. Or you can phone at 778-574-4444.
Larry, thank you so much for the update.
You're welcome.
I've been speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. I'm Jim Goddard. Our conversation took place on May 22nd.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at howstreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.